Remember, we learned that an ecosystem is the interaction between living and non-living things in the environment. Let's discuss ecological succession and new habitats. Succession is an ecological concept that describes the sequential series of replacements of living organisms that occurs within an ecosystem until a climax community is reached. A new habitat is an ecological concept that describes a community that has not been colonized. It is otherwise called a virgin community. This community is usually inhabited by primary producers. Like the word succeed, succession is the change from one regime to another regime of colonizers until the habitat gets to a point that it can no longer be colonized. An abandoned farmland and the aftermath of natural disasters like earthquakes or volcanoes are examples of new habitats. Ecological succession does not occur spontaneously. It takes time, although the early stages could be faster. The progression begins from the first colonizers, which are usually microscopic plants such as ferns, mosses, and organisms like bacteria and protozoa. These plants or animals are replaced over time by larger plants or animals such as seed plants and small animals like arthropods. This is the second stage of succession. After a much longer period of time, these arthropods and insects are replaced by larger animals like reptiles, birds, and mammals, while the plants are replaced by seed-bearing and flowering plants called angiosperm. This is the third stage of succession. This process continues until a stage is reached where no new colonizers can be introduced into the environment. This is called a climax or stable community. Lake Chad, the savannas of East Africa, the Sahara Desert, and the tropical rainforests of West Africa all represent a typical climax community. That brings us to the end of our discussion on new habitats and ecological succession. You now know how to define the terms ecological succession and new habitats. You've also seen a few examples of new habitats and how these habitats are transformed. I'll see you soon.